Bonjour mes amis, hi guys. I've got with me two beautiful watches coming in at very different price points, yet they have a fairly similar specs. Both are stainless steel, everyday watches on the dressier side perhaps, with 100 meters of water resistance, both 39 millimeters in diameter, so they will wear just perfectly on the wrist. The one here is just a slightly thicker than this, but both are manual winding watches. And yet, this one here, the Dumoreau, a beautiful watch in a royal blue, retails for 1,250 US dollars. It's available at dumoreau.com in 4 different colors, including a salmon dial, which would have been nice to compare today. And inside it runs a Swiss movement. It is all Swiss made, apart from the leather band, which is an Italian alligator. And here as well, we have Italian leather. The watch we have here retails at 20,000 US dollar before VAT, 24,000 all in, and it is made almost entirely by hand by Garrick, a UK independent up and coming brand with a big backlog of orders. They are working on more complex calibers. The caliber in this watch right here is one fully developed in-house in the UK, and the look is very reminiscent of classic UK watchmaking. So what gives? Why is this one about 15 times more expensive than the other, when the casual observer and even the enthusiast might actually prefer the more affordable one, or might not see why there could be such a difference, or what could possess someone to spend so much on a watch when the other does apparently the same job. And yeah, at a glance they both tell the time, not even the date, and yeah, technically they do the exact same job, and they have the same proportion. They both look good on the wrist. So what gives? And I think both watches could end up in the collection of even a seasoned enthusiast. Even if you have the means to buy this one, many watch guys who have seen this one immediately wanted to purchase it, with this beautiful blue dial that has a nice play with the light. So let's explore a bit the differences, and first look at the Dumoreau DM02, here in royal blue with a beautiful contrasting white time indications. This one actually has a case a bit more involved than the Garrick, with twisted lugs. The winding is quite smooth, a bit rubbery. You feel the nice little click. And inside you have actually well-adjusted, elaborate grade of a Celita movement with nice finishing, as you can see, and a sapphire crystal on both sides. Just a really good-looking watch. And if you just got into watches and you want a great, slightly everyday watch, but slightly more dress type of piece that has a bit of a vibe of FP Jaune, Vacheron Constantin, I don't think you can do much better than this. But even if you can afford those Vacheron, those Jaune, and all that, this has a great appeal. And you know, 90% of the reason why we buy a watch, and for most people 100% of the reason, is just the looks, right? And this is designed by a product designer, Carlo Aiello, in California, and he loves watches, and this speaks to the watch guys. Except on one level, is that you're not connecting to a watchmaker. Obviously, The Celita calibers are excellent calibers and often used as a base for very expensive watches. But you don't know exactly who has made this one. Most of it, if not all of it, is machined, and the result is excellent, and it runs well. This one is adjusted in 3 positions, I believe. I tested it. It runs better than the -7 +7 seconds per day advertised. But if you want to connect with a brand, and this is where a brand like Garrick comes into play, if you want to connect with the watchmakers, Garrick only employs 2 watchmakers, and I think one more person works on the dials. And if you want a dial that you're not going to see everywhere, that is done by hand down to the most minute details, then this is when you get interested into something like this. So a dial like this, which is a handmade guilloche with a beautiful depth, 2 different type of guilloche on the dial. It is made on the 19th century. This is where it gets probably above the head of the casual observer. It's made on the 19th century machine, engine turning, rose lathe. And a dial like this will take 3-4 days. So imagine, how many dials you can make a year. And if you have different type of watches, different models, you have to work in batches. And that's why there is many weeks of wait time. You can order your watch and completely tailor it to your taste, which is the next refinement as well, and why people want to pay 20,000 US, 24,000 VAT included, and are ready to wait many weeks. I think it's 36 weeks lead time at the moment. Is because it takes so many days, so many hours to create just one dial, and you can choose the pattern, you can choose the coloring, and the index ring here first is cut by laser, and the etching as well, and then someone with a syringe has to fill in with ink every index of the watch. The hands are blued with fire, heat blued as we call it, until they get to the color wanted by the watchmaker. In general, blue, but you could ask for purple or brown. And then the case here, yes, it is steel. It is a 904L steel, so the same used by Rolex. While here we have a 316L, another little nice little refinement. You have the sign crown. The crowns are fairly similar. The winding, not that different, a bit more clickety, and you can appreciate the little detail at the back as you wind your watch. Now, of course, what adds a lot more to the cost, the dial itself, a hand guilloche dial is like $3,000-4,000 of cost, just because of the time it takes and the machine that you need to have to do it. Then what will take most of the cost, of course, is the exclusive caliber developed by Garrick watchmakers. They are actual watchmakers, right? In the sense of that they're really making the watch, they're not ordering the parts. And over 90% is done at Garrick and finished by hand with a frosted finish in this case. They've developed this tri-spoke bridge for the balance wheel with a fine adjustment as well. And Garrick will guarantee as well the accuracy of their movement. The accuracy is fairly similar between the two watches. And any issue, you can talk directly to the CEO. I mean, there's not many people there. Same with Dumoreau. If you post something on Instagram, the CEO will reply to you directly. So you do have, with a micro brand, with a independent, a direct contact with the brand. That's something fairly similar between the two. But here everything is taken obviously to the next level. And if you wanted your watch adjusted, you can send it back to over there. I believe they also make themselves the straps. It comes with two different straps and a nicer buckle, I think. And you see a bit some marks that remind you that everything has been done by hand, by a human, not by a machine. The machine will get a more perfect look, but it can't get into can't do certain little details. And maybe by no means will I say that Garrick is the finest in terms of finishing, but then it would take the watch to another price level if you wanted to have insane finishing, like we've seen on the channel on other watches. I really love the look of this piece. It's a unique, and that's also the one thing you get with it, is that there's no other brand making it like this, and it's the vision of the watchmaker that is coming through this piece, and I hope I express it well enough that you understand why one would be indeed possessed to spend good car money on a timepiece such as this one, with a very original main plate, very original plate covering most of the movement. Is the kind of movement that I really love. So there you go. I would love to hear a bit. Let me show you when you change the time. I love how the nautical themed hands are gonna cross each other. See, and then separate. Just setting the time is so much pleasure on this watch. And if you want to discover more, go to Garrick.com. They have a very complex movement coming soon as well. So they make these in batches, and that's why there's a long wait time. Is that they cannot make many at a time because of the time it takes to do everything. So everything is done in batches, and then move on to a different watch. And one watchmaker will do everything. It's not a bunch of people, a bunch of machines that will work on your watch. So you can, you can be proud of owning a piece like this. But also, a piece like this, it's also limited in production. Only 150, I believe, in blue color. And both a great pleasure to show to other watch guys and talk about. And of course, there's more to talk about, probably about the Garrick, because of the human touch, the craftsmanship there is here. You talk more about the design, which is beautiful. And there's no doubt that you have to start somewhere. And Carlo, the founder of Dumoreau, wants to build up a war chest and go into more complicated watches or other nicer movements. This one is a great way to start, and every brand has to start somewhere. But there you go. I would love to hear a bit your thoughts about this subject, about these watches. And I would encourage you to visit the websites of both brands, and maybe put in an order and or discover more. It's a bit easier to put in an order for this than for this. There's you have to see if it works for your budget, for your collection. This is a timepiece for life, right? It's something very, very special. So the mental process is quite a bit different when you're going to spend that amount of money. So I hope this was interesting to you, and I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Shout out to Garrick Watchmakers. Shout out to Dumoreau. both really beautiful, enjoyable watches to own. Bye bye, guys.